Hoje estamos de volta com quem? Bom, ela volta nos Oscars. Ela ganhou um Emmy. Ela é...
Sua amiga gringa!
Amiga gringa, sua prima.
Oh, sua prima gringa!
Só falta aprender português. Ok, não sei quem viu o outro vídeo que a gente fez com a Candy, mas é muito interessante. Ela fala da carreira dela como animadora,
Animatriz.
pessoa que faz animação. I want my MTV campaign, you did?
Yes.
I want my MTV.
E a gente falou também de como ela ganhou o Emmy, que ainda está aqui. Claro que eu vou levar esse dia que é o gringo que ganhou o Emmy. Mas hoje vamos falar um pouco de como é votar nos Oscars. You're the only family member who votes in the Oscars.
That's not exactly true.
Okay.
My sister, Tina Hirsch, is in the editing branch of the Academy.
Oh, I will apologize to my cousin Tina, who I don't actually really know that well. Okay.
Well, she's in LA.
Let me just be clear about this. Wait, so hold on. I am sitting here with somebody who votes for the Oscars.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Lucky?
Okay, maybe lucky, but how did it actually happen?
I was making independent short films through my company, but part of my deal with my late partner and my other partner was that we would make our own films as well, because I wanted to continue making independent films. And so the first one we did as a company was called A Warm Reception in LA. Then we did Snowy and the Seven Dwarfs, a passive-aggressive fable for the 90s. And then Fast Food Matador, but they all got into film festivals and
May I
won
interrupt? Is
prizes.
there any way people can watch these? Are they online anywhere?
You can go to our website,
3 Z's.
and under indie films, there are little clips. And there's also a link to Vimeo where for 99 cents they can stream it.
99 centavos, uns R$3 pode ver esse filme.
Anyway, so because they got into festivals and were nominated, I think they were also shortlisted for the Academy, and I was offered membership.
Wow, what year was this?
1992? This is the Academy card this year, and you can't read anything because it's all black.
Oh, muito chique isso.
But the other ones you can actually see, and so you can...
Que isso, uma prima que volta nos Oscars. Duas primas, né? Okay, so this is a very glamorous job.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, okay.
What does it involve?
Looking at a bunch of movies.
Right, so here's the problem, right? You have to watch all the movies.
Yeah, you're supposed to, and I actually take it seriously. And for the nominations in my particular branch, it used to be you actually had to show up at the screenings where those films were being shown, because you could only vote at the screenings.
So just to be clear, you're on the
Short films and feature
animation. And because of that, you actually help decide which ones get nominated.
Correct.
And then you vote among the nominations for all the categories.
Yes. The two things that we get to nominate as members is your branch and also Best Picture. So That's why I get all of the DVDs and all the invitations, because people want to be Best Picture. The Academy has a branch in New York now.
Okay.
And so they do screenings up until like August. I've probably seen, how many weeks is it from March to August?
Like 25 weeks?
So somewhere between 25 and 50 films. And then about the end of August, but definitely by September, the studios are now releasing their serious films, the ones that they want to have consideration for. And at this point, not only do I have the Academy screenings, but all the studios are trying to get your eyes on the films too.
Okay, so you both have the official screenings for the Academy, which are set up by the Academy.
Right.
And then you have the studios are getting you to come. And how do they get you to come? I just went to my first. Eu acabo de ir para a primeira vez acompanhando ela para screening.
Well, you know, that is the thing that I like about the screenings is that they often have the filmmakers there. so that there's a question and answer dialogue, which often makes the film much more understandable.
When I went with you and we saw Blake Lively talk about the film, I understood it much better after she explained it.
Yes.
She really should do that at all the theaters.
That's right.
By the way, thank you for my invite.
Oh,
it was
pleasure.
very interesting. So
Yeah.
let's just talk about that as an example. So we saw the film in a
Right.
very luxurious
Up
Cinema
theater,
123, basically Midtown, near 60th
Near
Street,
Bloomingdale's.
near Bloomingdale's.
Yeah, they'll own Bloomingdale's.
And then we had lunch at Le Cirque.
Le Cirque. It was
very
great. It was
fancy.
very nice.
And who was there but Blake Lively,
Yep.
the director,
Correct.
and Ira Glass, who you may not know. Ele faz um programa ótimo para melhorar seu inglês. Eu sempre recomendo os podcasts do National Public Radio e o nome do programa dele é This American Life. So there's a fancy lunch, and this is
Yes.
supposed to make you have warm feelings toward the film.
Well, actually, you know what? Even if they didn't feed us, the part of it that I like is hearing what the filmmaker has to say about the
Right.
film and the opportunity to ask questions about the film. We can bring in Harvey Weinstein.
So Harvey Weinstein, eu tenho certeza que isso saiu nas notícias no Brasil, mas é super notícia aqui. But so Harvey Weinstein,
Okay, so he was well known for doing this big, elaborate push to get Academy members to see his films because he would have it at very fancy restaurants and people would be served and there would be all kinds of things there. And other independent filmmakers would say it was unfair because they didn't have the same kind of budget for this kind of push.
What
The
you're saying is,
Academy-
before even the current news, Harvey Weinstein was a puta babaca.
Yeah, he
Back in
certainly
the
was.
day.
So the Academy, to try and say that everybody's on a level playing field, we no longer can be served a meal. We
Ok,
have to.
explica porque tinha um buffet lá no restaurante onde a gente foi. So that's why they didn't have waiters for
That's
us
right.
in Le Cirque.
Yeah.
I had to take my own piece of bread.
Yeah,
That
really
made me
tough.
like the film less.
None of us were ever swayed to vote for a bad film because of a good lunch.
Right, of course not.
What we did do, though, is that if we were invited for a lunch, we would, by necessity, see the film.
Right. It makes sense. You need to see all the films.
Right.
So around this time of year, you start
I
seeing.
had invitations for every single day and night.
Okay, so now I have an important Oscar question for you. I mean, do you really know? Are you really qualified to vote for which had best sound editing and so all these little categories? How
Yeah.
do you decide on that stuff?
So actually, sound editing I can say something about because sometimes the mixes are just way too loud for me. And frankly, there are some films when I see it, I went, wow, that music was really good. I remember saying that about Bridge of Spies because it was not John Williams, who is a great composer, but I was amazed that it was such a different sounding music in a Spielberg film that
See, I just sit there in the movie and I just like let it all.
well,
flow.
no, I usually do too, but every once in a while something will hit me,
Right.
especially, that sound.
And I always wonder how you can tell when the editing is good. Now, obviously, the editing for Amigo Gringo, being done often by me, is worthy
Excellent.
of an Academy Award. I know it's excellent, but how about that? Do you ever, when you're watching a movie, think, "Whoa, that was a great edit"? I mean,
No,
in a sense,
if you're
editing is.
noticing the edit,
Then
then it's a
no
bad
good.
edit. Yes.
Right, exactly. So in essence, the best thing that an editor can do is be invisible.
Well, that's not true. It depends on how well the story is paced and how well it's being told.
Right.
And it's true, it could be the director, but having a sister who is an editor, I know how much lands on her plate.
So let me ask you a question. If right now I were to turn us upside down and put strange coloring in our faces, would that get me closer to winning an Oscar?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's put it back. We got off of Harvey Weinstein, but I do want to talk a little bit about your vision of. So you know him,
Oh, I knew him a million years ago.
Right.
Because I was a member of Women in Film, and we would have an annual softball game.
and of course he was always supportive.
Well, he was actually.
was. No, I know he
what
was.
a schmuck, but yeah.
So I mean, but that's interesting because that's what people are talking about today. That it's ironic or hypocritical. He was so supportive of women in film, and yet at the same time was harassing.
Yes. And whatever psychological issues that he had, it was a real personal flaw.
Right.
Professionally, and he was a bully too, but on the other hand, if one could separate out what he did to help people, especially independents, with their work, that is to be lauded. But yeah, it's now really hard to even go back there to say that. Well, let me just go back to me and my sister being members of the Academy. To have two sisters in two different branches, in two different coasts, I think we may be unique.
There's no rule against it.
Oh, no. But I keep on thinking it's really interesting, and in their magazine that they put out, wouldn't they be interested?
Well,
but neither of us are actresses, so
but
that's
you know
who
what
they do.
what would be even better is to have 3 cousins members of the Academy. I think that would be an incredible news story. Foreign films. So how are those chosen? Because that must be like
crazy.
1 million films, the whole world of films.
No. Every country decides on what their film will be, which ends up being incredibly political, especially for places like France or Italy,
Well, I think
where
it's
they have.
political in Brazil as well.
In California, they have 3 teams, 3 different color teams, red, blue, and yellow, I think, that looks at the hundreds of films because they're all feature length.
Right.
So it's hours and hours. So the most they can see is 3 in a day or 6 in a weekend. With streaming now, it might be easier to do stuff also, because they've now done the Student Academy Awards through streaming.
By the way, I should note that Candy always has all the films for the whole year on DVD
But
in
it's
this
not
apartment.
all. It's
Quite a large
lot of
number.
them, yeah.
So anytime, if I need to see any film, the only rule is I have to see it in this apartment, because you're not allowed to give them out.
No, cannot do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Let's come back with the Aula de Nova Yorkês. Ok, espero que tenham gostado do vídeo. Não esqueçam de deixar seu like e se inscrever no canal e me seguir no Instagram aqui. Candy, muito obrigado!
Imagina!
Eu ensinei isso para ela. Vamos com a nossa aula de Nova Yorkês de hoje. So it's called the Academy Awards, but most people call it the Oscars. You're a member of the Academy. That is because it's a group of people.
It's officially called AMPAS, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
Right. And I guess...
So the first awards they gave out were these statuettes, and someone in the Academy said, "Hey, that looks like my Uncle Oscar."
So the statue looked like this
Her
person,
uncle,
her Uncle Oscar. And then I think it was the next year that Walt Disney, as they say in Portuguese, accepted the award and actually called it an Oscar. And I guess
And it clicked.
from there on, it's just been called the Oscars. You are a member of the Academy. When people say member of the Academy, they're usually referring to the people who vote
For the Oscars.
For the Oscars. So this is why it's common for the people when they receive the award to say, "I'd like to thank the Academy."
Correct.
They're thanking you.
Me and
Many.
7,000 other people.
Yeah. Candy, I'd like to thank this member of the Academy for participating on our show. Bye.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.